What were my best and worst money spends of 2024? Let's go ahead and get into it right now. So we're here. We have another day where Sarah needs to do her hair. No surprise there. I'm actually going on a double date tonight with my husband and our son's godparents. So I did my makeup for it, but my toddler fell asleep. And she can now climb out of her own crib. So I thought it would be best to film as close to her falling asleep as possible. So I might be able to get the entire video filmed without her just like popping up and scaring me. Let's go ahead and get into this. I thought that this would be a really great video to film because it's, going to be the new year very soon. And I figured that new makers would be starting their journey or seasoned makers would be refining their purpose. So I wanted to just add my 2 cents into the mix. Now, we all have purchases we are not proud of, but we also have those things that we got and can no longer live without. And this is very much so the best of both of those things. I've got my top 5 purchases of the year, the best purchases that I have made for my business, LV, body, and home. And then I have the 5 worst things that I really wish and regret buying. These are in no particular order, but I am going to go back and forth between a best and a worst. And then at the end of the video, I do have some very exciting news to share. The number 1 best thing that I think I have invested in this year are these, well, you can't really see them here, but these Alex drawers from IKEA. I really like the Alex drawers in particular because they're shallow, but they're wide. You can fit a lot of things. There's a lot of different like ways you can organize them, or a lot of different setups or configurations. That's the word I'm looking for. There are a lot of different configurations that you can buy. So there really is something that can suit everyone's making needs, but it's more than just getting the Alex drawers. What it really is at the heart of it is a better system for organizing my supplies. This is not going to be any surprise to you if you've been around for a while, but I'm not the most organized when it comes to keeping and maintaining my supplies. I tend to just kind of toss it here, toss it there, and then have to like frantically clean up when it's, some companies coming over, like on Thanksgiving. But I really made it a goal for this year, to take my organization more seriously and take my workspace more seriously. So finding these Alex drawers were that for me. I did actually find all of them on Facebook Marketplace, and I have filmed a vlog that has not been posted yet because it's like what would you call it? Like a time lapse, but not a 1-day time lapse. It's been like a time lapse of every time I get new components to like finish out the studio. It's very much so showing the progression of my studio over time. So it's not a quick turnaround. Like I said, I've been filming footage for it for quite some time. It's November, the end of November. Actually, is it December? So it's been going on for months, and eventually I will post it. I'm just waiting, for a couple more things. But like I said, it's the system for organizing. And if you don't have one, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. I've definitely become more efficient since getting them. And now everything kind of has a place. Not everything, but most stuff has a place. I have really nice shelves. I got the Billy bookcases. Those have been awesome as well for just displaying and making things look like a real studio, right? One of the worst things that I bought this year is cocoa apricot creme wax from Amazon. I want to say that I don't think it is the wax itself. There's not anything wrong with the wax, and the wax works fine. But I always purchase from Makesy, and I cannot tell you how much I wished I had just waited for my Makesy order to come. It can take a while sometimes. I poured candles, and I wished honestly that I had not poured them and had just waited for the Makesy wax. It is unmatched. The quality is unmatched. I have never like love to wax more than I love that one. I am an affiliate for Makesy, but if you go back through my videos, I'm telling you, I use almost exclusively supplies from Makesy for a reason. I use other suppliers as well, but majority of my stuff, I would say probably like 75% of my materials, including candle vessels and like everything, for all of my products, soaps, candles, etc., come from Makesy, and it is for very, very good reason. Now, if you're interested in like a ride or die supplier video, definitely let me know, because that idea just popped into my head and I think that it is a good one. Maybe we should talk about the suppliers. That's actually a really great idea. Okay, I'm gonna put that on my books. But anyway, yes, that wax, again, this is no shade to the creator of the wax, right? And it got the job done, but it wasn't up to my personal quality standards, so I would not repurchase it. And then after that, it kind of felt like I was like wasting the supplies. You know what I mean? Like I felt like I wasted the candle vessel. I felt like I wasted that fragrance oil, and it was a beautiful fragrance oil, by the way. So that being said, I think my next step for this would be to just make sure that I'm ordering well in advance of when I actually need the wax. That way, if Makesy's running behind, or, you know, not running behind, but if Makesy's running a little bit slower to ship, then I can still get the stuff that I need in the time that I need it. All right, before we move on, I want you to join the conversation in the comments below, and that is, if you had the opportunity to take back one purchase that you made for your business this year, whether it be equipment or a type of candle vessel or a soap mold or anything in between. It truly doesn't even have to be about soap and candles. If you make scrunchies, let us know about the scrunchies. That is something I know absolutely nothing about, and I'm always willing to learn and listen. So whatever it is that you would take back, no matter the cost, okay? Most expensive, least expensive, whatever it is, total waste of money, or you just don't use it the way that you thought you would, let us know in the comments below, and I am going to put my number one of all time down there as well. Next best thing that I bought was photography supplies. I'm talking replica surfaces. I'm talking about club backdrops, right? All those backgroundy type things. I bought photo props. I bought greenery. I bought a little flash, like a little light. It is wonderful. I've been using it and I really love it. Anything at all photography related, but not just that, like buying the things for it. I also invested in product photography itself and figuring out how to take really good pictures that like really pop and catch the eye of someone who may be looking to make a purchase, both retail and wholesale wise. There's definitely a formula to it, a whole story or a series for another day. But if you are thinking about what you could next invest in and you are lacking in the photography department, but you have online business, I would highly recommend spending the money on photography. If you need a course, you should take a course. If you need backdrops, you should buy the backdrops. Like, so many options here. I go back and forth between replica surfaces and club backdrops. Replica are sturdy, of course, and then the club backdrops just have like little fun ones, and they're a little bit less expensive. Plus they offer extended size, which I know Replica also offers, like the extra long ones now. Sometimes you may come into like a time where you want the floor of your picture to match the background, and if you have a club surface, you can make that happen because it's vinyl. But if you have a replica surface, you have to buy two of the same surfaces to get the same effect. So it just is personal preference. I go back and forth. I love both. I don't think there's anything wrong with loving both. It can be expensive though to love both, but like I said, invest where you need to. But if you're considering product photography, I would say absolutely yes. It is one of the best things that I invested in this year. Along with that is one of the worst. This product was a clear custom soap mold, like a loaf mold. I really loved the mold itself. I had no problem with the quality of the mold. It was a beautiful quality. It was really, 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 really nice. It was amazing, and I did not like that there was a learning curve to it. If you don't want it to stick to the acrylic of the soap mold, you have to adjust your recipe, which I did not want to do because I made custom soap boxes, right? Like I got my own soap boxes made and they had the ingredient list on there, and I wasn't willing to change my formula. Like I said though, it wasn't anything with the mold. The mold itself was beautiful and I ended up selling it, and I hope that the person who bought it gives it like the love it deserves, because it truly was a beautifully crafted mold. It just wasn't for me. I need my silicone one that I can just pop soap out of and like move on. Embarrassingly enough, I had to get my husband to help me take it apart, and he, like, neither one of us, we just couldn't get the soap out, and we finally did. Because again, I wasn't willing to change my recipe. I used the same recipe and it just got stuck in there. And that's, again, it's not the fault of the mold. That's my own fault. I should have thought about that. But because I wasn't willing to change my recipe, it just kind of ended up being a non-starter for me. And again, I hope that the person who bought it is absolutely loving it and giving it everything it deserves, for sure. Rolling right along, the next best thing that I spent money on, or the best spend of money that I had this year, was looking into and buying a course to help me get stronger in areas of my business that I wanted to strengthen. This is not an ad. Nothing in this video is like someone paying me to talk about it. Everything that I bought with my own money, and I used over time and figured if it was right for myself or not. So I don't want it to come across as like I'm telling you to buy things because I'm getting something out of it, because I'm not, right? I invested in a course for people that want to grow their wholesale business on Fair. As you know, Fair and I have had a rough go round, and I am climbing myself out of that ditch because I really want to be successful on that platform. And so I thought that it would be a really great idea to buy a course and, you know, learn from it and apply the knowledge. I found a coach, or the course creator, I really align with. The reason that I knew that it was right was, so that it's Kristen Fisher. She has a podcast called The Buyer Side Chat. And through listening to her podcast, there were probably 5 episodes that I listened to in a row where I had to go and write notes so I could remember what I needed to go back and look into. Like, she would be talking about SEO with, a guest, and then I would go and write down all of this SEO stuff that I needed to look into so I could apply it to my business. What I truly loved and respected, and the reason it was so easy for me to invest in this course, was she was able to give me actual, actionable things that I could do to change my business for the better. And that's exactly what I wanted. And it should be what everyone gives you when you pay for a course, but it's not. And I just knew that if she was able to do this on a free podcast, that what she had to offer for a paid course would be 100 times better, right? So I invested in that, and I'm working through it right now. But what it showed me was I have a lot of things that I need to work on before I can even go further in the course, because I should have done it already and I didn't. I skipped over it, or I thought I didn't need to do it, like finding a brand voice. And like little things like that. I should have done a bunch of these things before I started, or not before I started. Well, yeah, probably before I started. I should have done them, but I didn't. And now it's coming back to bite me in the butt. I had to take a brief pause from the boot camp so I could go back and figure out everything that I overlooked. And then I'll be able to set myself up for success, which leads me into this brief intermission where I tell you guys a secret project I have been working on. Surprise, I'm going to tell you now instead of at the end of the video, because it just really naturally fits right here. I'm sorry, I can like I can like feel my hair just like bobbing away. So I've been working on something for quite some time, and I'm finally ready to share it with you guys. I have been wanting to do this for quite some time. As you guys know, I tend to get a little bit squirrely, and I take an idea and I run full speed, and then I will randomly stop one day and never think about that thing ever again, and then be mad that I wasted the time, energy, possibly money on that thing, and now I can't stand to even look at it. So I wanted to be sure before I told you guys about it that this was not going to be like that. I really love my channel here, and I don't want to ruin this really great thing that we have going on by telling you about something else and not following through with it, which I do feel like I have on a small scale a little bit of a history of doing, which I know, and I've identified that about myself, and I am working on it because I am like that in every aspect of my life. And my husband will say a million times, a million times, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. That's like his life's quote. And what can I say? He's right. I do the same thing everywhere. So this is my best foot forward to no longer do it. What am I doing? I have developed a podcast, and I'm actually halfway through recording the first season. I'm not going to put it up until the entire first season is done. So it might still be a few weeks before you see it or hear about it again. But I am really working hard on getting that done because it's something that I just really want to do. It's not something that I intend on filming and posting here and as a podcast. I do truly just intend for it to be a podcast, though there are some episodes that will cross over and I'll film some and record and post here. For example, after one of my last videos where we talked about different business models, or where I mentioned different business models, a couple of people were interested in hearing more about that. So I have planned and scripted, I'm actually going to record it after I finish this video. I planned and scripted that video to go over the different business models, and I'm going to film it and post that one here. So it just kind of depends. Like I said, I don't plan or intend on it being a visual podcast and an audio podcast, but there will be some crossover here and there. And as soon as it's ready and as soon as I put it up, I will let you know. But the whole premise of the podcast is for women who face a lot of inner turmoil when trying to make business decisions, which causes them to become stagnant instead of achieving what they're truly capable of achieving. And I felt like this was the best topic for me specifically to cover because I am that. I will sit and I will look at 1,000 different lotion components for no reason at all because there's nothing wrong with the ones that I have, right? But I just feel like I have to. So we'll be in the trenches together figuring this thing out from the ground up. I'm talking painful detail on how to make these decisions with actual steps and clear value, because like I said, I don't believe in listening to a full podcast about, I don't know, how to label a product without walking away knowing exactly how to label a product. I just don't believe in that. And if it's an entertainment podcast, yes, absolutely, right? Not everything has to be a list of 10 things you need to do. But if you're framing yourself in a way or portraying yourself in a way where you're giving value and you're not giving the value, then what's the point, right? So anywho, I'm actually really excited and I hope that you guys are too. I'm really looking forward to 2025. I've got a lot of plans, so many plans, and I'm looking forward to doing them with you. Let's go ahead and get back into it. Investing in a course that would help me strengthen a weak area of my business was definitely one of the best investments or spends of money that I made in my business this year. And I'm just going to really briefly go with the worst one because I don't think it needs much more than just a quick say. And that was a thermal label printer that was not Bluetooth capable. I don't know exactly what I was thinking. If I had to guess, because I've had it for a while, if I had to guess, I'm going to go with the plug-in one was probably far less expensive than the Bluetooth one. And in my head, I was like, who cares? I'll just plug in my computer and print the label. But really, I care. And I didn't know that I cared as much as I care until it started becoming like an annoyance, right? And you know how it is. Once something annoys you once, it's going to annoy you really, really bad. So that being said, we're moving on from this label printer. I know eventually I'm going to get a new one. I just haven't done it yet. Make sure you get a Bluetooth label printer. It will just make things 1,000 times easier. Not to mention, I have to plug my computer in. Like, I can't even plug my phone in to do it. Like, anyway, so it makes no sense, but it is what it is, and I've done it to myself. Next up, we've got a loaf soap cutter. Absolutely amazing. It was expensive, which is what put me off from buying it earlier in the business, but it truly is worth the investment. I really, really like it. Storing it can be kind of a pain because it's like a odd shape. I do really like it, and it's definitely one of those things that now that I have it, I don't know how I lived or found success without it. You know, before I used like individual cutters, I tried all like the cheap options, which really probably totals the cost of like this one nice one. But I just had a really hard time with it. Everything was always uneven. It was frustrating, blah, blah, blah. I would definitely recommend, if you're a soap maker, to get a loaf cutter as soon as you possibly can. And the worst, I feel like I'm gonna get some heat for this one, but I really am not a fan of any of the car diffusing stuff, guys. You know, I've made a couple videos on it, and I still think that those videos are valuable. There's nothing wrong with like the information in the videos. I'm just not interested in actually making the car diffusers. Car diffusers really don't do anything for me. They're a mess. Something's always not working right. They're tiny, they leak. I don't know. You know, some people find a passion or find like that to be amazing. And while they are great sellers, I'm just not a fan. And I actually even talked about it in the products I'm canceling video, how as soon as I'm done with all of my supplies, I don't intend to make them anymore. Which, by the way, if you're interested in some supplies, let me know. I've got the base, I've got the whole setup. If you are interested, send me an email. I would love to chat about a wonderful cost for those items. I'd love to chat about a wonderful cost to get those items out of my closet and into your hands. So, yeah, if you're interested in car diffusers, let me know. And my last two, the final best thing that I invested in this year was room spray, all the things. I love room sprays. I don't know why I waited so long. I guess I just kind of felt like my product assortment was complete until I started considering that I wanted to become LV body and home, and the only home product I had was candles, which obviously is enough, but I just kind of wanted to have a more even matched product category. So I have like soaps, lotions, and scrubs, and now I have candles and room sprays. I'm really enjoying making them. They are very cute. They're very functional, like they're usable. I have like my test ones and I use them all the time. I absolutely love them. They are something that I'm very excited to have added to my catalog and will be expanding in the coming months just as soon as I can. The only thing I'm not sure about is the bottle. I love the bottle, but it has a gold cap and I can't decide if I'm going to keep the gold cap or if I want to switch to a black cap. I'm not sure yet. So I'll have to think about that because I do love the gold, but the black is very classy. We're going very classy. We're going very sophisticated. So we'll have to see. I don't know. I'll let you know how that turns out, or I'm sure I'll have a vlog about how that turns out. But yes, I definitely think if you're considering adding a new category and you're considering room sprays, I think that that would be wonderful. And the very last worst thing that I bought was a bunch of different salt. I really wanted bath salts to like be amazing for me, or bath soaks to be amazing for me. I had, you know, all the healing things in mind, but it's not a category that I'm going to explore. And I don't picture myself exploring it at all in the future. So for me, now I just have like a huge Rubbermaid tote of random salts. Like I have jade salt, I have bamboo salt, I have Hawaiian black lava salt. I've got all of these salts and love salt, of course. But they take up a lot of space and I could use that space for something else. So I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to go through all of the salts. I'll probably figure something out. But what I would rather have is not them, if that makes sense. Okay, I know I say it all the time, but I do feel it needs to be said. Just because I don't like something doesn't mean you can't like it or it's a bad product. Like I said, a couple of the things that I talked about, or actually none of the stuff that I talked about was like bad, like a waste of money. It's just I could have spent that money on something better for my own business, right? You may have an entire bath salt business. And if so, drop it down in the comments below. I would love to check that out. You may have that, right? So again, it just take the video for how you will. I'm not telling you that you can't make car diffusers or that car diffusers are terrible, because they're not. They're actually really viral all the time. And I think that you could have a fabulous business based off of that. They are very, very low barrier to entry, like meaning they're inexpensive to make, and they have a high sell-through rate, which is the recipe for a great product. So I think it's a great product if you like it, but I just don't, right? So you see what I'm saying? My points are valid, but they're my own opinion. And I'd love to hear yours down in the comments below. If you have not answered our question from today's video, I definitely want to hear what you would take back from buying, and I will see you next week.